Every morning, the countdown begins for the markets with meticulous research and analysis designed to help you capitalize on the trading day. Beaming live from the CNBC TV 18 Motilal Oswal studio.
Good morning. You're with us here on a fresh new edition of Bazaar Morning Call. We are coming to you live from the CNBC TV 18 Motilal Oswal studios. Wednesday morning, bang in the middle of the week. Overnight, we've got a new record. Asia, though, is trading slightly sideways to lower. I'm Prashant. With me, my colleagues Nigel and Rima. Guys, morning.
Hi, morning.
Hi, good morning. Indian markets have been in a bit of a funk, right? Over the last two trading sessions, drifting lower, while the US market's higher for the third consecutive day, and records for the Dow.
Absolutely. 49,000 plus.
Yeah.
Well, that's right. And Mr. Trump, you can't keep him out of the action, right? He's talking about everything from Greenland to tariffs to I don't know what not, man. I mean, I saw some play acting as well overnight, which wasn't very impressive.
It's a 90-minute speech. It's on the White House website. And we'll at some point try and play out at least 30 minutes out of it, because I think, there was this another speech which he gave, I think, about 4 or 5 months back. But the point is, a lot of the real stuff gets missed because of the theatrics. But there is stuff. I mean, he says what he's going to do, and as he's shown, he's done it. So we'll have to pay attention to what he says. This is just the second year of the Trump presidency, and we're just sort of kicking this off. Okay, let's just quickly take you through what you need to know as we begin this new session. Equities in the US hit a new record high. The S&P about 0.6 higher. The Nasdaq up about 0.6 as well. Dow 1%. Well, we're closing above 49,000 levels for the first time on the Dow Jones Industrial Average, a grand old Dow, which of course is still widely tracked. Explosive move in specific pockets of the market, right? Memory stocks. And it's just incredible. I mean, look at SanDisk, which was up 28% last night. Micron was up 10% last night. And this is not just now. SanDisk, for example, I just looked at the last 5 months. It was $50 in August of 2025, $350 now. Micron is up about 250% in the same time. August of 25 to now. It's... sometimes you kind of sort of look at them with a little bit of envy, because it's not that you miss them. It's just that none of those plays exist here in India in that sense. I could go on with a couple of more names, but I just wanted to put this out, especially because of the size of the moves. Oil prices down 2%. We're at about $60.50 odd paise. There is this one Trump, Truth Social post which says that Venezuela is going to basically transfer between 30 and 50 million barrels of oil. I'm not sure why 30 or 50. It's like a one-time payment or whatever. But, we'll talk more about that as we go on. But oil down 2%. Now, silver prices hit a new record high, and they're already up after last year's 150%, up another 15% in 226 in the first few sessions. Gold prices another 1%. Copper, aluminum also 1.5% higher. So it's like an everything kind of a rally. Gold, silver, base metals, equities, you name it, right? Sometimes you wonder if this is the start of a bit of a reflation trade, essentially, which means that the market is betting that the global economic activity is going to start to pick up in right earnest, or something else. You have Stephen Miran, who on the Fed, who basically made some comments. He said that Fed will need to cut rates by more than 1% in 2026. Others, of course, have recently opined, saying we are close to neutral already. Prediction markets are showing rising odds that Trump will make his move on Greenland. One of his aides was on television last evening saying that, well, we need a Greenland. It belongs to us. Europe and a bunch of European countries issued a strong condemnation, saying that Greenland is part of Europe. Denmark, Greenland, and of course, part of NATO as well. So for the first time, we're seeing a bunch of European countries coming together. To what effect, we will have to see. But, they put that communication out very clearly, saying that they're going to defend Denmark and Greenland sovereignty. This Friday perhaps could be important. And the reason is that there is, of course, the jobs data which will come out. But more importantly, the Supreme Court is going to hear and perhaps give an opinion on the emergency tariffs. Remember, all these tariffs during the Liberation Day tariffs and after that have been issued under the emergency powers, which is the IEEPA rules. The Supreme Court is essentially hearing in the US the validity of these tariffs. markets are thinking, consensus expects that at least partly these tariffs will be struck down. And if they are struck down, will a lot of the tariffs which the US has collected have to be refunded? What are the size, scope of refunds, etc.? We'll have to wait and watch. This is extremely important for the rates market and equities, but more rates because, the Trump, for example, has said that they're going to take in $600 billion worth of tariff revenue. All of that has gone into calculation about US fiscal health and fiscal situation. So if some of this money has to go out, I think it can put, meaningful upward pressure on yields. We'll have to see how this goes. But Friday is essentially the date, and we'll talk more about this. Markets, of course, sold off yesterday. The Nifty, day before yesterday, it was just the Nifty. Broader market looked healthy. Yesterday, everything rolled over. The Nifty was down, but broader markets also favored a pressure. But Reliance, of course, single-handedly responsible for the 100-odd point cut that we saw on the index. I'll just leave you with the 20-day, and the strange, ironic thing is that the market with every passing day has been coming closer and closer to the 20. So 26,024 as of yesterday's close on the Nifty, 59,335 on the Nifty Bank. I think the Gift Nifty is indicating another 60, 80 point lower start, implied open. Bulk of Asia, except I think South Korea, most markets are also sideways to slightly lower, but they've had a decent start to 26. We've not. So that's essentially the conundrum we find ourselves in. How's the F&O numbers looking, the positioning, the data? Nigel has walked across with that. Nigel, over to you.
Well, let's start off with the cash market volumes first. The cash market, we have the institutions that were buyers, and the FI activity is gradually picking up. So good to see at least institutions, they were net buyers. What did the FIs do on index futures? Well, they went ahead. They added 2,000 long contracts. They added close to 2,000 short contracts. But on stock futures, they went ahead and, in fact, added more number of shorts than longs in the ratio of close to 3:1. That could be partly because of an arbitrage as well, but that's in terms of the futures action. Net-net, they're still short on the index futures with close to 87% of their positioning on the short side. It's come down a little bit from that 90% odd. The PCR, we had pointed a couple of trading sessions ago, it had gone to around 1.5, which is the upper end of the range. Now it's cooled off, post yesterday's weekly expiry that played out, and now the PCR has come more or less in line at around that 0.9 or thereabouts, closer to the lower end of the range. That's because call writers are back. 26,200 call, 26,300 call. Aggressive writing is what you've seen on both those two strikes, and the premium as well has come down a little bit. So punching in these premiums that we are seeing and the recent high, well, the recent high of around 26,373, that becomes a bit of a resistance level just in the near term. And that was on 5th of Jan that we saw that high on the Nifty. Support, though, that's closer to around the 20-day MA, which is at around the 26,000 odd mark. And keep in mind that the last couple of trading sessions, the Nifty has been falling because a couple of large heavyweights have been under pressure. Case in point being HDFC Bank as well as Reliance Industries, both of them, they dragged the index down on the last couple of trading sessions. So going by what the Gift Nifty is suggesting, that we could be starting off on the back foot, I think today is a good chance that we see a recovery if we do get that 70 to around 100-point downtick that the Gift Nifty is suggesting. So that's going to be important. Moving to the Nifty Bank, well, that will have to do the heavy lifting. 20 DMA is close to around 600 points away from where it closed yesterday. And that yesterday as well was a relative outperformer. It needs to continue its outperforming ways. ICICI Bank, case in point, yesterday did very, very well in trade yesterday. So the heavies, they need to give up the underperformance, HDFC Bank as well as Reliance Industries. And in terms of individual stocks that we're looking at, silver has gone through the roof. So you have, Hindustan Zinc, that's the only pure play on silver. Yes, they've had some part of their quantity, but if you want to play silver, then it's only Hindustan Zinc. And Vedanta is the parent of Hindustan Zinc, and you get exposure to other commodities as well. So I'll continue to keep an eye out on both these two stocks. But the Gift Nifty, suggesting a bit of a downtick. I think after the last couple of trading sessions downtick that we've seen, put together today's downtick, good chance we see a recovery intraday.
Well, thank you very much for putting that in context, the macros, the F&O, the technical levels.